Hello everybody, happy Friday. We're going to get started with today's MJ Sector review and live stream. Just going to give it another minute or so before we get started. We'll give it a few minutes for people to join us. Hope you had a fantastic day. It was a wild day in the market, and I think I'm on my fourth video now today. Starting to lose count, but going to get the show started here momentarily, so just bear with us before we get started here in about a minute or so. All right, everybody, we're going to get started with today's video. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth for an MJ Sector review. Today's a review for Friday, May 28th, and it was a wild day in the markets today. Fantastic day, portfolio, all-time highs. Hope everyone had as good as a day as I did, and I know a lot of people in our group, it was one of the most exciting days in a long time. So what better day to celebrate on a Friday right before the weekend and a short week this week. But before we jump in, make sure to smash the like and subscribe to the channel. So we're going to do a deep dive on the HEXO Corp and Redecan merger. I did a video earlier today. You can check that out. It was about 8 or 10 minutes, and it was just an overview of what that merger was, and a couple videos that were really cool in there as well. I also just did another video on the broader market and another one on Sebastien St-Louis, saying that, just a short one about a minute long, saying that he wants HEXO to become, over the next 8 to 20 years, the Coca-Cola of cannabis. So before we jump in, make sure to smash the like and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to put some timestamps in the description below, as I suspect that this video will go a little bit longer today, and we'll have a discussion and we'll do a deep dive on this merger and acquisition. So again, congrats to the Bulls, and it's just been nothing but, merger and acquisition after M&A with HEXO. I mean, HEXO has acquired 4 different companies now in the last couple of years. We had Tilray, Afria, Fire, Canopy. There's so many different M&A activity going on at the moment. It's hard to keep track of it all. So we'll get started in today's video, and then we'll do a M&A or a Q&A, sorry, at the M&A on my brain. We'll do a Q&A at the end. So if you have any questions, I would just encourage you to save them to the end. But yeah, I see if people are joining us here now. So welcome. We're going to get started with today's video. So, HEXO Corp and Redecan, building a global cannabis leader, corporate presentation. So this was put together extremely well, and just going to blow this up a bit more for everybody to see. So years ago, we set path to become one of the top 3 recreational cannabis players in Canada, and today they are #1. So if you are a HEXO, Redecan, Zenabis, 48 North, this is nothing but good news. And on the conference call today, discussing this with Redecan CEO and HEXO CEO Sebastien St-Louis and Trent McDonald, you can just hear the excitement in Redecan, the CEO of Zenabis and 48 North. They know what they have in their hands, right? The opportunity they have with HEXO, and they are getting extremely excited. I'm excited. Let me know in the comments if you're excited about this news today. But you can just tell that they're excited about the future of HEXO. They're very, they can't wait to see where the Powered by HEXO strategy is going from here. And I can't wait either. It could be, we got earnings coming up here in a little less than 3 weeks on June 17th. Don't quote me on that. I haven't vetted that, and we'll want to see official confirmation from HEXO on that date. But we could see a potential CPG partner come out anytime. They also hinted today that they would be open to doing an even bigger M&A deal than the Redecan one that they just did, which was a combination of cash and stock, which we'll discuss a little bit more in detail. But Imagine they had another M&A and then another CPG partner. They're talking about getting into cosmetics, edibles, functional foods. Who do we know that's in cosmetics and functional foods? Nestle, L'Oreal. They also have a stake in L'Oreal. We know PepsiCo is experimenting with CBD and hemp rockstar in Germany. Guess who HEXO has a license through Zenabis to sell to the EU, and Germany is one of those countries. So again, not saying that they have ties or they will have ties, but it's a possibility. And also Nestle is experimenting with CBD products. There's so many potential partners that this could just really ignite into a Fortune 500 company. And I'm going to be real with you guys today. This isn't about me pumping HEXO. This isn't about me trying to to polish a turd, for lack of better words. This is just me being a realist and being straight up with you guys. I've been telling you guys that I've been bullish on HEXO Corp. I didn't buy my first HEXO share until August of 2020. It might have been the end of July, but when I really started to invest my hard-earned capital into HEXO was in August of 2020, and I was screaming from the rooftops. Go to my channel, look up HEXO, and you'll see from August 2020, I was one of the first channels to cover their drinks hitting the SQDC. And if this does really become the Coca-Cola of cannabis, man, I mean, how many people are going to look back? Already seeing a ton of people in my channel saying, oh, I wish I would have bought more, and why didn't I buy more on that dip? Believe me, you think there's a lot of people saying that now. Wait until you see where this is going. And I'm just trying to, I've been screaming from the rooftops for almost a year now, and now people are finally seeing people on YouTube, different YouTube channels basically saying, I don't have a position in HEXO, but I'm getting really interested. It's like, what else could you possibly really need? Like, this is just, the dominoes are falling. This is one master plan that is all coming together beautifully. And if you're not excited, I don't know, you might as well, maybe cannabis isn't for you. Anyways, I digress. So Canada's market leader, #1 recreational market share in Canada with leadership positions in 4 of the largest provinces. So Redecan has a very, very big, strong presence in Ontario. HEXO started off with Quebec as its home turf, and they basically, just owned that market. And Redecan has a leading market share in Ontario. They're top 5 in terms of flower. Shout out to QC in our group for sharing that. But again, that's what we believe is top 5 in terms of flower in the OCS. So with Ontario, Canada's biggest province, with Quebec, with #1 market share in Alberta and British Columbia, the sky really is the limit here. Leadership across product categories provides more robust blended gross margins. So another thing, Redecan has some of the best technology for their pre-roll joints, and if you haven't seen their Reddies, it's a 10-pack with 0.3 gram joints, and they're fantastic. They're rolled beautifully, like to perfection. I'm talking about like cigarette quality. It literally feels like you're opening a pack of cigarettes, and the margins on those are crazy. And they're talking about being the #1 in pre-roll, and also #1 in pre-roll into the United States once federally permissible to do so. And again, we don't know whether or not laws are going to permit that, but with Canopy and Acreage deal and Aphria buying Sweetwater Brewing Co. and all these different companies striving to enter the US, that leads me to believe that they know something that we may not know. And I do, if it was one company, maybe the laws aren't going to permit it. But the fact that all the LPs and all these, Fortune 500 like Constellation Brands and Molson Coors, do you really think they're going to, invest millions and millions of dollars and not be able to? I just don't see it. I know, I just believe it with my whole being that it's going to happen. And now with HEXO and its expansion into the, the EU, and there's just so many opportunities. And HEXO wants to be they're now top 3 in Canada, basically #1 in terms of market adult use sales, and they want to be #1 globally. That is their goal, is to be top 3 globally. I think with everything that's setting up, they could be set up for that goal and more. Growth opportunities across Canada, obviously US, Europe, immediately improves profitability, accelerates the path to EPS, and provides opportunities for additional synergies. I think they said there was like 33 million or more in synergies. And Redecan, I looked it up here. Just want to pause this for a second. So at the end of this BNN Bloomberg article, they say, since recreational cannabis was legalized on October 18th, Redecan has been among the top sellers of dried flower, pre-rolls, and vape products in the legal market. The company generated $58 million in Canadian sales in the 3-month period from February to April, according to Highfire. $58 million in a quarter? This is with Zenabis, with 48 North, and with HEXO's growing organic, and just from all this activity in M&A, this is easily going to put HEXO over $100 million in revenue per quarter, in my opinion. And that is big news. That, you know, you're basically matching an LP or an MSO now, and they've got 300 and some million people versus Canada's 30 some million people. So again, you're not really comparing apples to oranges whenever you compare LPs to MSOs, because it's such densely populated areas with, you know, 10 times the amount of people. So Canada's largest private licensed producer, third largest LP by adult use market share, number one in customer loyalty, differentiated portfolio, number one in pre-rolls, oils, and capsules. Shout out to Conrad in our group as well. He shared a purchase. He bought some CBD through Redecan, and one of the cheapest CBD options. He gives it to himself and his family and his pets. Positive adjusted EBITDA cash flow and net income. And this is a private company, so if you're wondering why you haven't heard of Redecan or you haven't seen anything about their stock, it's because they're private, and that's why we don't see a whole lot of their revenue details either. So Redecan is focused on product portfolio in pre-rolls. We already mentioned all of that. So extensive cultivation and production capabilities, so state-of-the-art facilities and technology, just a lot of synergies with HEXO. And when I first saw the news today, when I first seen that Redecan was being bought by HEXO, first thing that came to mind was those pre-rolls, those Reddies. I love them, and I think they're about $20 for 10, and like I said, 0.3 grams in each one, and the amount of, you know, possibilities that they could spin with that product is just mind-boggling. So Canada's expert in lean manufacturing efficiency with best-in-class production capabilities. So again, I already touched on that a little bit. Efficient operator delivering superior financial performance, high margin business with growing sales, positive adjusted EBITDA. And Sebastien mentioned this today as well. He's like the only person, the only company that beat HEXO in terms of year-over-year sales growth was Redecan. And you can tell that bothered him a little bit, but it doesn't really matter now, does it? So 169% year-over-year gross. Oh man, I got the goosebumps here. So gross margins north of 50%. And I made a pretty funny, I was actually on Trent McDonald's Twitter today, and he made a post and I commented on it. And he actually responded to me, and I took a snippet of what I said, but let me just see here. What did I do with it? Anyway, I trust SSL. He does things very well. Keep it up. I'm ready to head north. Namaste. And yeah, I mean, just how do you not get excited about this? This is just too good to be true. And this is really, I just did a video on be ready for a massive rally in the cannabis industry. And now we're seeing a massive rally, but a lot of people are thinking this is the rally I was talking about. This is nothing. We haven't even scratched the tip of the iceberg yet. If you think the rally in the cannabis space up until this point has been huge, you just wait until you see the US legalized, and the hype that's going to lead into that. We haven't seen anything yet, my friends. Oh my God, I can't reiterate it enough. So transaction combines two complementary companies to create the largest Canadian licensed producer, near-term revenue and cost synergies, access to the Belleville Center of Excellence, and Redecan into Quebec and Atlantic, Canada, extend Redecan into the US and Europe, enhance HEXO's presence in Western provinces, proprietary manufacturing technology efficient, accelerates path to EPS, and solidifies pre-rolls market in Canada. So here you go, leading in this defensible combined market share position. HEXO now in front of the great Tilray. Man, that's good to see. Gotta love it. HEXO Redecan trading at a discount to peers. Look at that market cap. 1.8 billion. Are you kidding me? 1.8 billion. Do you know where this thing is going? I just shared a video the other day. They were expecting 95 billion in the US annually here in the near future. And in 2025, they're expecting 125 billion just in the US alone. Just in the US alone. And we know that HEXO has all of Canada, Europe. They have license to export to Europe now through the Malta facility with Zenabis. So we'll just say 2 billion market cap, right? And let's just say in the US alone, $125 billion. Let's just say we get, I don't know, let's just use a random number. Let's just say HEXO gets 5% of that. That's $6 billion a year. 6 billion just in the with just 5% in the US, not including Canada, not including Latin America. Like Mexico's opening up. We know that Trust Beverages through Molson Coors is going to have all these different distribution networks into Latin America, South America. They're going to have across the borders. Man, I could go on for days. Leadership in Canada's 4 largest markets across the product and price spectrum. 87% of the total population, 4 largest provinces in Canada. Strong alignment with HEXO's near and long-term strategic priorities. So those are market leadership, U.S. international expansion, operational excellence, and product innovation. And wait until bake sale. Bake sale isn't even out yet. Bake sale is anticipated to be $80 a bag. So for 28 grams, you're going to be able to get whole bud that's going to completely destroy the black market. You thought Original Stash with their, $120 ounces or $100 ounces were a big deal. Bake sale is going to be the stake to their heart, so to speak. And if I used to obviously go through some black market people like through buddies because we had no other choice when it wasn't legal. And I don't know too many people doing that anymore. Let's just put it that way. So Redecan, look at this brand portfolio. Just with HEXO's alone, they've got the Up, which is 21% THC and above, or 20% THC and above. Some coming in at 23, 24 off the lot. HEXO Plus, which is basically exclusive to Quebec, and Original Stash, which is the black market killer at black market prices. Bake sale, which is going to introduce a whole new line of cooking with cannabis, but is also really going to be a black market killer. Redecan, Namaste, Blazery, Re-Up, another really popular value brand as well. 48 North, you got to try the Where's My Bike Sativa. Oh man, it's good. Fantastic. Loved it. Didn't care for their Green Crush, I think it was. Absolutely terrible. And again, I'm just being real with you guys, right? I'm not trying to pump things for the sake of pumping it. I'm being real. And that Where's My Bike, stellar name too. But powered by HEXO, House of Terpenes, XMG, Little Victory, which has won awards for best beverage, Veryvel, their health and wellness line without basically saying health and wellness, Molo, which is the beer product. They're coming out with a Molo Lime. So tons of products and opportunities coming down the pipeline. And like HEXO says, the future in cannabis is in those who do not already consume it. The trusted solution for leading CPG companies to safely enter the cannabinoid market. So utilizing the powered by HEXO technology and nano-emulsion technology and extraction technology, that allows the Fortune 500 companies to partner with HEXO to remove all the complicated barriers of entry into the negative stigma that goes along with it. They basically just use the brands and the expertise of Molson Coors or any other future partners that may come down the pipeline, and they use their expertise with trusted brands, and then HEXO manages all of the the back end and the technology and the cannabinoid extraction processes. And they have some of the best nano-emulsion technology out there with about a 15-minute onset. So moving right along, growth opportunities beyond Canada. So they are working on GMP certification for their Center of Excellence in Belleville. And they also have EU GMP facility through the Zenabis facility in Malta. So that's a big deal, which gives them permission to export to the EU, hence Germany. Who we know exploring products in Germany? That would be PepsiCo with their Rockstar Hemp. Again, not saying that they're in talks or they may make a deal, but they could, as HEXO seems to be best positioned for that. So HEXO will leverage Redecan's unique pre-roll product, experience in manufacturing and brands throughout its existing Canadian, US, and international footprint, a clear path to profitability with significant upside opportunity. So 2 pending acquisitions are expected to generate a minimum of $32 million in annualized cost synergies within 12 months. And the Redecan merger is more synergies, ability to increase sales, bringing brands to new provinces, potential for industry-leading margins, an accelerated path to earnings per share, EPS, optimization of cultivation, manufacturing, and distribution network. Also, the facility that Zenabis has in New Brunswick is an indoor facility, state-of-the-art, that is going to allow HEXO to get into the craft space. And also 48 North has some craft cannabis as well. SSL said today they are not interested in buying an MSO. They do not want to buy a multi-state operator in the US. That is not their plan. They are not a retail company like Canopy Growth, which has all these different Tokyo smoke stores, right? So they're not looking, they're a product company. So they're not looking to buy an MSO. Their expansion plan into the US is to manufacture white labeling products and then sell those that have high margins to these MSOs. So again, I don't expect them to buy an MSO if you're wondering. That's not the goal here. Now they have the indoor facility, which will promote, they have their own genetics department as well, which will start the path down that craft area. But in order to be number 1 in Canada and number 3 globally, you need to have good, cheap cannabis, right? You can't be focusing first on craft. That has to come later. It's like Molson Coors trying to make a craft beer first before becoming one of the biggest beer companies in the world. That just wouldn't make any sense. So, ability to increase sales by bringing brands to new provinces, potential for industry-leading margins. Again, so man, this just I'm almost sad that we're at the end here. Today we are number 1. What's next? Top 3 global cannabis player. So I will skip through this a little bit. So HEXO common shares outstanding, 129 million. Their debt, fully diluted market capitalization, 539 million. Lease liabilities, so it talks about the debt outstanding here for HEXO's convertible debt, 35 million, Zenabis 66, 48, only 3 million. And total debt outstanding, 539 million. And this comes after that convertible note that they were announcing yesterday. And that had everything to do with this acquisition, because the previous acquisitions have been all stock deals, which wouldn't hurt their bottom line. But now this is a cash and stock deal. So that is obviously going to play a factor into that bottom line. And HEXO will pay 400 million in cash, 525 million in shares to acquire Redecan. And Redecan shareholders will own 31% of the combined entity. So we'll look at that in just a second. But moving on, so announced transaction, HEXO has entered into a definitive share agreement and share purchase of HEXO of all extending shares of Redecan from shareholders of Redecan selling shareholders. Total consideration of 925 million, comprised of 529 million in HEXO shares and 400 million in cash. As I just mentioned, 69.7 million HEXO common shares priced at 5-day VWAP, volume weighted average price on the TSX on May 27, 2021. 400 million in cash, further funded by cash on hand and previously announced secured convertible note, which I just mentioned. Unanimous approval of HEXO board of directors, approval by a simple majority of HEXO shareholders required. So we should see that come, in the near future. Each of the Redecan selling shareholders is party to the share purchase agreement. No further vote required. 24-month holding period, which, subject to certain exceptions, Redecan shareholder will be permitted to sell a maximum of 1 out of 24 per month. And I did tune into that conference call this morning, and Trent McDonald did confirm that there will be a termination fee. He didn't say what that termination fee was, though. Standstill agreements. Redecan shareholders have agreed to be bound by customary standstill provisions for an 18-month period. During this, such shareholders have agreed to support HEXO's management and board of directors. Will Montour and Pete Montour, principal shareholders of Redecan, to join the board of directors of HEXO, and it's expected to close in calendar Q3 2021. Transaction overview update. So strengthen domestic brands, foothold in Europe, creditive synergies, state-of-the-art cultivation infrastructure. So again, you can check out all this. I'm just going to skip through this. 19% premium based on the 20-day VWAP. So that's a little bit lower than what we've been seeing, but that's likely due to the fact that it wasn't just all stock. It had cash as well. Xena. This is the Xena shareholders 0. Oh, okay. My bad. This is the Zenabis update. Yeah, they got a good deal on Zenabis. Board of directors and management. So anyway, not gonna, for the purpose of this video, gonna keep this centered around the Redecan. So you can check that out if you want to read that and learn a little bit more on that. You can also access the deck on HEXO's website. So pretty much just reiterated everything that I wanted to say, but I really want to hit this home one more time. Since recreational sales began to legalize in October 28, Redecan has been among the top sellers, and they were one of the first to get the licensed producer license and top sellers of dry. So look at this. The company generated $58 million in Canadian sales in the first 3-month period from February to April. Oh, I cannot wait. And then we have HEXO's earnings coming up on the 17th. Again, we want to see official confirmation. And as long as the S&P 500 doesn't fall off a cliff, we are set up extremely well. So another thing I've been talking about, and a reason why I could smell something skunky and a potential rally around the corner, the MORE Act of 2021 introduced in Congress. So lawmakers have introduced the MORE Act of 2021 in order to push the reform cannabis law. And as we know, they're pushing the MORE Act over the Safe Banking Act because they don't want to kind of shoot themselves in the foot and have the skeptics basically just push that aside, the MORE Act aside, and then vote on the Safe Banking Act. Chuck Schumer wants to put that on the side, on the side burner for the back burner for the time being, in order to get a better chance at more broader legalization at the federal level, and that will help with expungement, which is just clearing past records, that type of thing. Marijuana legalization about to go federal. Congressional leaders took a massive and potentially historic first step on Friday when they announced the Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestment and Expungement MORE Act of 2021. States proposed purpose of the MORE Act to decriminalize and deschedule cannabis to provide the reinvestment of certain persons adversely impacted by the war on drugs. And they do say that they want to do this to help the little guys, so to speak. But yes, I believe there will be some little guys and gals in this space, mom and pop shops and things like that, similar to Alberta running privately owned shops. But let's not kid ourselves, right? Like, let's not be naive here. There's going to be winners and losers in all markets, right? There's going to be 3 to 5 big companies that likely run, majority of the market, just like big alcohol, just like the big tobacco. I don't care what anybody says. If they're trying not to let that, I don't care. It's not going to happen. There will be, mark my words, there will be 3 to 5 big companies in the entire globe that own the majority of the market share in the cannabis space worldwide. I just don't see it playing any other way. And I don't care what people say. It's been the case with alcohol. It's been the case with tobacco. It's been the case with pretty much everything, right? We all know that a few companies run the world. And yeah, it's not something that I believe to be true whatsoever. I do believe that it's going to be a select few companies, and HEXO, with their mission statement, their business model, I think they are at the front runner of that list. The significance of the proposal can't be overstated. If it's passed, it would end the federal prohibition on marijuana, something a growing number of cities and states across the country have already done. Since I introduced the MORE Act last in Congress, numerous states across the nation, including my home state, New York, again, that's another thing too. What happens if HEXO expands into New York, which is very, very possible with their new facility in northern Colorado, which is also cleared for THC cannabinoids as well. Our federal laws must keep up with this pace now that they're set in a statement. I'm proud to reintroduce the MORE Act. So again, check that out all on your own if you want to learn more on that. So Canadian marijuana retailer High Tide gets the green light for NASDAQ listing. And we're seeing the whole sector run together, both US and Canada. If you've been tuning into my videos for the last few days, that's exactly what I've been saying all before this big move started to happen. Juicy Holdings Q1 revenue increases 29% sequentially to $41.7 million. So moving on to the HEXO chart. So we hit 723 here in the after hours. We hit a high of 755. And if you tuned into my video this morning, I literally gave you the playbook. It played out to a T. We were in the pre-market. We hit, I think, $7. And I said we had a gap here at 716. And I wouldn't be surprised if we just kept running to 753 because we had a lack of resistance until 753. And I said back here on my videos that I was backing up the truck. And this was right when they announced the 1.2 billion prospectus. I said, not buying it, backing up the truck, added to my position basically another 30% of what I was holding, close to 10,000 HEXO shares now, and backed the truck up, went up 50%. And then look at this is the benefits of being in a group like our group, Pursuit of Wealth. You can check out pursuitofwealthgroup.com or powgroup.ca. Join us for a 1-week free trial, no credit card required, see what we're all about. But benefits of knowing technical analysis, how to read charts, or how to surround yourself with people who know what they're doing, right? So literally check out my video from this morning. I said we had a gap to fill at 716 and wouldn't be surprised. We have a lack of resistance until 753. Look where we topped out today, 755. How did we know that we were topping out? Well, besides the fact that it was a clear double top, check out the 2-minute bearish RSI divergence. We were seeing the RSI trend to lower lows, lower highs and lower lows, and the price was trending higher lows and higher highs. Generally, that means to start looking out for a flip in direction. We also had, like I said, that double top. So from that, I exited my position. I'll just bring up the. So I have, like I said, I have my long-term portfolio and I have my short-term portfolio. And in my short-term portfolio, my swing account, I have about 5,000 shares. And just bringing this up here, I posted in the group. I said, hey, this is what I'm doing. Looking for a double top at 753 and seeing 2-minute bearish RSI divergence. And again, if you're not in our group, you wouldn't have the benefit of knowing this ahead of time. Well, if you would have watched my video from this morning before market open, you would have had a little clue. But then I specifically told members, I am selling because of a double top and 2-minute bearish RSI divergence. I sold 2,400 shares at 741, and then I rebought another position at 699. And we actually went down as low. I think we got as low as 690. And I bought another position as well. I didn't screenshot that one. But then I bought, when we broke the hourly inside bars bullish, I bought back again. And let me just bring up the hourly chart here. So we had 2 hourly inside bars. Let me just reset. And look what happened. We had hourly inside bar, hourly inside bar. We had a fake out to the downside. And then once we broke above the resistance at 708, I entered again and got another 2%, and then exited at that position. And I'm back to holding quite a bit of cash in my swing account and just looking to load cheaper because we are at resistance and we haven't seen any real consolidation since 564. We did have a bit of a blow off top there on the daily, and we have this gap to fill now at 654. So I wouldn't be surprised if we came down and filled that gap, right? I mean, we have no higher low all the way down to 564, a lack of support on the daily. That's about a 25% drop from here, and we could still just be looking for a higher low. Massive volume. Another thing I want to point out, SPY was weak into the end of the day, the S&P 500, and look at how strong HEXO closed. Look at that 5-minute volume. Whoa. I just realized that's like the most 5-minute volume ever, maybe. But wow. And I even said that in the group too. I said expecting a run to 720 by the end of the day. It literally closed right on 720 and then it dropped to 718. I was like, oh man, it was on a roll. But 2 pennies off, you'll give that to me, right? So SPY into the end of the day, as you'll see, hot, heavy, exact opposite. So that's what we want to see as HEXO investors. Zenabis, 48 North, Redecan, whatever you consider yourself to be. So yeah, what else can I tell you? Like picture perfect. Look at that. Wow. So yeah, we get as low as 689. So I basically got the bottom there too on that 699 re-entry. But hourly inside bar bullish into the end of the day. And again, double top at 753 couldn't have played out any better, in my opinion. And one thing I want to highlight here, we're almost changing the weekly trend. We're almost going to confirm a weekly uptrend here. Low, high, higher, low. If we break above 753, which we did, we technically confirmed a weekly uptrend, but we didn't see follow through. Now we need to see follow through, and we could see that follow through from an earnings report. We could see it from a CPG partner. But if we change the weekly trend back to an uptrend, that means our monthly high or low is set, and that new monthly higher low is 502, critical monthly support. And look what may happen here this month. We have our last trading day of the month. Monday is going to be extremely important. Why? Because it's the last day of the month. What can you see on this chart that hasn't happened since the all-time high? I'm not going to wait for you to answer, but spoiler alert, it's a close over EMA 26. So we haven't closed above EMA 26, that white line, since all-time highs. And look how close we are to closing above it. That EMA 26 is currently sitting at 720. So if we can close this month over 720, we'll be looking up to resistance at 1104. And then after that, a lack of resistance, baby, until all-time highs. 200% move just from a break of $11. So now, do people understand why I was so bullish back here at $1 and $2, post-split? So pre-split, you're looking at 25 cents and 50 cents. That's when I was loading the truck, right? That's when I started screaming from the rooftops. So now are you finally understanding the reason why I knew? It's because MJ started to reverse. CGC, Canopy Growth, confirmed a monthly uptrend. Afria confirmed a monthly uptrend. And then sure enough, HEXO and everybody else just followed, right? It's the CGC has been the leader. They're the leader in Canada, and MSOS is the leader in the US space because it has access to major exchanges. Bitcoin's the leader of crypto, and S&P 500 is the leader of stocks. So you watch those benchmarks and those indexes, for lack of a better word, and we had all the clues in the world. And how many trolls, HEXO's a scam, it ain't going nowhere. Well, sorry, but you were wrong. And all I was trying to do is help everybody. I'm not trying to pump, again, just trying to be real with everybody. And please don't be one of those people who are going to say, I wish I would have bought more. Or why didn't I buy more when the last dip happened? There's always going to be another dip. There's always going to be another opportunity. And as we saw, HEXO is extremely undervalued compared to its peers, and it's now #1 in terms of the Canadian market. Do I have to, get my girlfriend to paint a picture? I don't know how else to articulate this. So again, if you think you're late to the party, just from current levels to all-time highs, we're talking about a 365% move. If I could bring up the Afria chart, I would, but let's just bring up Tilray. But Afria went over its all-time high, way over its all-time high back in January of this year. And Tilray went from $4 to $67. $4. So we're talking about like a 12x, 13x move. And people think they're already late with HEXO. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And how many people were messaging me today, when should I buy HEXO? Is now a good time? Why is it that every time HEXO runs 20, 30%, people want to buy, but when it's down 10%, people want to sell? It doesn't make any sense. As the saying goes, people just want, the last place people want a discount is in the stock market. And it could not be more true. So going to end it there with the HEXO analysis, but a close over 720 on the monthly here. And I'm going to be extremely bullish, and I'm extremely excited for earnings coming up on the 17th. So CanTrust led the bull list today because that makes total sense. Cron, SNDL, and High Tide. High Tide with a nice day there after the news from the uplisting of the NASDAQ. At one point, HEXO was the leader, North was right there, and Zenabis was right there as well. Zenabis had a great day today as well. I know a ton of people in our group, when we were at 9 cents, we were all saying, hey, the discount between HEXO and Zenabis right now is crazy. And we had support at 9 cents. And I said, HEXO is running, I expect Xena to run. And then from 9 cents, 65% to that recent move. And then today we were up 78%. I can't remember how many people, I can't count how many people messaged me today and just said, thank you for your input on Zenabis. And just very humbled to see the people in our group, very appreciative of that. And it's great to make a difference. You get tons of trolls online saying, oh yeah, you're just pumping and dumping a scam. And clearly there's people getting value in it. So I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because I feel like most people are, appreciative of what I'm doing. And, it's a Friday night and this is my fourth video. Haven't even eaten in, I don't know how many hours. And it's a Friday night and here we are, 3-4 hours after market close, and I'm here with you guys. So if you could just, to support me, like the video, I would strongly encourage you to share all of this information with all your friends and family, because this really isn't going to be an opportunity that you want to miss, in my opinion. On the bear list, we have PWR, XLY, Oxley, and Tilray. And just taking a look at some of our other names on the daily. So CGC had quite a bit of volume coming in too. And again, like, imagine if the US legalizes like here in the next couple, like if they even just say we're going to legalize in early 2022, and then we run up to that similar like the Canadian market. You think Canadian cannabis ran hard? This is going to make that look like peanuts. HEXO on the weekly closed above the 10-week moving average, saw a bull cross of the stochastic. Need to see that MACD cross bullish next week, and we will be all systems go. In terms of the weekly moving averages, we closed over the 100 weekly moving average, and look where we were rejecting all this time. This has me confident that we're going to close that monthly candle over EMA 26 and head back to all-time highs a lot sooner than most people may think. But we closed the weekly candle over the 100 weekly moving average, and now we're going to target our previous top, which was $11 at the 200-day moving average. We get over the 200-day moving average, 1142. Guess where we're probably heading? All-time highs. Woo! Drop a rocket ship emoji in there if you like the sounds of that. So on the daily time frame, some more good news. We're above the 50, the 100, and the 200-day moving averages. Everything is looking good. MACD on the daily looking phenomenal. And we're above the 20-week moving average. We're well above the weekly VWAP. And look where we held the last 3 weeks right on that weekly VWAP. So moving over to the US space, and we'll wrap this up. We'll bring it home, and then we'll take some time to answer some questions. So CXXI, VREO, and KHRN led the decline today. On the bull list, we had CWeb, FLGC, GRWG, CWeb, another company that I really like. Look at the volume there today. I added to that position around $4. Started adding when we lost $5, and then I added again around $4. And that's in my long-term portfolio as well. Keep in mind, CWeb was at like 30 bucks, 33 bucks at one point. And I know there's, not a whole lot of people asking about MJ, but I know when CWeb gets back up to $15 and $20, you're going to have tons of people. When's a good time to buy CWeb? Which is fine, right? Like it's just the psychology of your greener type of investor. And I don't mean green as in marijuana. I mean new to the space, and that's because they let emotions get the best of them. So if you are new to the space, I would encourage you to go over to POW. I'll just bring this up right here. pursuitofwealthgroup.com or powgroup.ca will take you here, and you can check out all of our memberships. So we have an annual option, monthly option, 7-day free trial, no credit card required. Come check us out. We've got algo alerts with buy and sell signals right to your email and in Slack, which is our proprietary algorithm, and bi-weekly trade newsletter for the more passive style. We have consulting, and then we now have the Academy. So if you're a new investor, this course is completely free. You can pre-order the level 1 beginner and level 2 advanced that are in progress. But right now you can go here, sign up completely free for the getting started training. And here's the course curriculum. And it will literally talk about psychology of markets and cycles, how to start your pursuit of wealth, and then brokerages, accounts, paper trading, and community charting, trading tools, software. I even do a interactive quiz on how to understand uptrends and downtrends. And that's going to be extrapolated, and it's going to be heavily focused on in some later courses as well. If you're anything like me and a visual learner, and I think that these interactive quizzes are going to really help hit home some of those points that a lot of people struggle with. So again, we all started off somewhere, we all started out as a newbie at some point. So the best thing that you can do is just completely do your best and join a group. You don't have to join a group if you don't want to, but it helps with, cutting down your learning time. Why not join a group with, hundreds of people and learn from their mistakes so you don't have to make the same mistakes as well. And we're not financial advisors. All investments have risk, but you can just simply bounce ideas off of other people in the group before you hit the buy or sell button. What's wrong with that? So again, the more you learn, the more you, dedicate your time, the more you learn, the more you'll earn, right? So I encourage you to go check that out. So going to wrap it up. We'll go through some questions and answers here. I do want to just bring up the MSOS chart. So if you have any questions now, it'd be good time to start typing those out. And yeah, a lot of people in our group were looking at HEXO calls as well. The 550 strike in January 21st, 2022. And those calls were up, I think, over 10% today. I think they were like $1.50 on the ask when I bought it. And it was up to like $1.90 today. So even if you were just looking to sell that call and not actually exercise it, you would have made about 10% there in about a couple of days. So I know a lot of people in our group are looking at some calls on HEXO as well, some long dated calls. But taking a look at MSOS here, so daily bounce still underway. And at this point, we're breaking the weekly inside bar bullish. So weekly bounce is underway, but we are struggling at EMA 12 here. So we want to get over next week. And then it'll be resistance here at 44.14, and then 49.20, 50 psychological, and then all-time highs up at 55.91. So starting to see signs of a reversal. Don't go sleeping on BAM either. I'm expecting a massive move on BAM. BAM's one of those weird ones, right? Everything else rallies and BAM's down for whatever reason. And then the whole sector will be down the next day, and then BAM will be up 10, 20%. Wouldn't even matter if the S&P 500 was down. BAM would still be up. It's just very odd action on BAM, but another name that I've been averaging into and very bullish on as well. So let's look at the chat room here. So if you have any questions, like I said, now would be the time to ask. So drop 3 out of 4 of my HEXO today at 903 Canadian, ready to reload cheaper. 790 Canadian fills the gap. Yeah, absolutely. I was looking at that gap fill as well, but I reloaded cheaper on that double top today, right, at 753 USD. And then once we had that 2-minute bearish RSI divergence, I was like, okay, that's enough for me. I'm in. Sold, 2,400 shares and reloaded cheaper below $7 US, and bought some back on that hourly inside bar bull break at 710. Still way cheaper than my sell at 741, right? It's going to be lit. When do you think that CPG partner is going to be signed? Maybe winter? Yeah, it's hard to say. I think that their earnings are coming up on June 17th. That's the tentative date. Again, we want to see confirmation officially from HEXO, but at this point, it could be shortly thereafter. Really, it's hard to say, right? It might take the fact that we know that the CPG partner is likely going to have heavy ties to the U.S., right? We know that. That's their focus, is the U.S. right now. Sebastien St-Louis and HEXO management have said that trend time and time again. So that tells me that the CPG partners likely got huge market share in the U.S. And if the U.S. is just starting the MORE Act and ending federal prohibition, that's a good sign, because maybe this new potential CPG partner is waiting for that regulatory clarity, right? So the sooner we see prospect improve for federal legalization, the better the prospect and the faster that we'll see that CPG partner, in my opinion. But great question. Thumbs up, guys, you bet. USMJ is very much a laggard, Truel and GTII. Yeah, it's a laggard, but it's not, right? Because if you look at the charts, like, they've run thousands of percent while Canadian MJ was hurting bad, right? Let's just bring up, like, I don't know, TrueLeave. And, like, I've been around for 10 years, right, in the stock market. I've been investing for 10 years. I've been trading for 5 years. And, people back here are like, oh, US MJ to the moon. Canadian MJ is not worth anything, and it's all about US MJ. US market's the only thing that makes sense and the only thing that's going to make money. And all the LPs in Canada, it's a dead market. It doesn't matter. Well, regardless of that belief, from the low of COVID-19, we went from $8 on TrueLeave in a year to $67. And then Tilray went from $4 to $67 in a matter of months, like 3 months, in a matter of weeks, in 3 months. And it took TrueLeave almost a year to do that. So from the low, let's just compare. Took 11 months, almost a full year. Okay, so why is that? Because they're not listed on major exchanges. The big boys can't get in. The big boys and the big girls can't get in. And then look at Tilray. And I was literally, look at my videos. I said the majority of the move to be had is going to be in LPs. There, we saw that institutions were buying Canadian LPs, And then when we found out about the US legalizing in January and Biden winning office, what did we see? We see Tilray go 14x in 5 months, right? So no, it's not really a laggard. It's just, LPs are playing catch up, and nothing goes up in a straight line forever. And all the, the people who were long US MJ, it was Canadian MJ that was the laggard, right? And they said, okay, well, if marijuana reform's coming and access to major exchanges is primarily the Canadian LPs, well, maybe it's time to start shifting and buying Canadian LP. And we knew that because big institutions, I shared videos on that. There was data showing that big institutions were loading up on those LPs when we saw tops being hit. We had a blow off top here on the monthly candle here on TrueLeaf. And I don't know how many times I warned and I warned and I warned. I said, look, we have a monthly high or low every candle for the last 11 months. So what happened here in March? We lost the low of the previous monthly candle, and then from there we dropped 20%. Just from the low of that candle, from the top of the move, we dropped 36%. I said, don't be surprised if we see a 10, 20, 30, 40, and we still haven't tested EMA 12 or EMA 26. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got a monthly inside bar, so whichever way we'll break, either we start the monthly bounce but at this point, could it even be a monthly bull flag? Yes, it is. So it's a monthly bull flag. And if this monthly bull flag plays out, which it could, right? Based on if the US legalizes it, everything's going to pop. But not as much as the LPs because access to major exchanges. The second TrueLeaf and all these MSOs uplist to the NASDAQ and NYSE, I'll change my tune. And then that'll be the majority of my capital will be focused on that. But if we confirm this monthly bull flag, that's going to take TrueLeaf to $100. How you like them apples? So hopefully that helps. But yeah, not to shoot you down. Like a lot of that was a great question and a fair assumption. But yeah, I disagree because and we don't have to agree on everything. But I just disagree because, like I said, nothing goes straight up in a straight line forever. And look at the RSI on the monthly. We're at 83 there at one point. So it's the same thing, right? It's psychologies. Go sign up for that course. You'll get a lot of value. Same thing with Tesla. Everybody, Tesla will never see any pullback, right? We had monthly RSI at 91. And then here we are from those highs. We're down another 40%. Same chart, pretty much, right? Nothing goes straight up in a straight line. Difference is Tesla bouncing off EMA 12 here. TrueLeaf hasn't tested it. Redecan, private company. Yep. Yeah, they're a private company. Yeah, their pre-rolls are fantastic. Those Reddies, the 10-pack, there's 10 joints. Each joint is 0.3 grams, and they're really good. But I can't wait until HEXO takes over because I wasn't really a fan of the bud that's in it. It was okay, right? I'm definitely going to buy a pack here after this video. But yeah, I'm going to go buy a pack of that. Where's my bike? 48 North Sativa. Best name ever for a sativa. But that one's phenomenal. Really, really good. I enjoy that. Like I know I've been, a strong connoisseur for cannabis, and I've been consuming it for over 20 years, and I used to grow it as well. But I stopped doing that. Just haven't had the time anymore. But check out Ethos Genetics. Insane in the membrane. I grew some stuff. It was like 35% THC. And I'm big into craft cannabis. That's why I like BAM Body and Mind as well, the US small cap in the US. But yeah, I can't wait until HEXO gets some of their bud into this technology and into those perfectly cigarette-like packaged pre-roll joints. Like, how do you compete with that? It's funny you see all these companies hand rolling them and there's certain machines that you can buy that like shakers that'll do it and stuff like that. But yeah, they don't got nothing on these perfectly cigarette-like joints that they're coming out with. Thank you from the USA, where we await HEXO's arrival. Yeah, man. What do you mean HEXO's a scam and it's going nowhere? It's not even into the US yet, right? How many people are salivating at the mouth just watching my product reviews videos? Oh my God, I wish, but meanwhile, I'm I wish I could go to the States and try some of your MSOs. But here's the deal. Maybe let me know, guys. You guys are from the States. Why does no one talk about the MSOs? All I hear about is how good the MSOs are and how much money they make. But why do none of my videos get any views when I post about the US MSOs? And why is nobody talking? Why is everybody in the US talking about HEXO? It just doesn't make any sense. So what I want to do is, because I'm not hearing anything through the grapevine, first thing I'm going to do once these restrictions are lifted, which I think is going to be in the next 3 to 6 months, maybe even sooner. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to Colorado, and I'm going to try all these products, because I don't hear a single peep from anybody about, oh, Cresco's got this or whatever's got this. I think I heard one person say Cresco's weed is really good, and it's you can just tell it was Cresco's just from looking at it or something like that. But really, I haven't heard anything. And then I'm going to go to Nevada and all these different places. Like I'm going to do so many product review videos you won't even believe. But yeah, I can't wait to go to Colorado. That's going to be epic. Trying the Veryvel products there with the Molson Coors CBD US Trust venture with HEXO. But yeah, I can't wait. But yeah, just imagine once all the US is able to buy HEXO products powered by HEXO. I mean, you can buy the Veryvel brand now if you're in Colorado, and they're getting huge results from that. I know a lot of people are pretty stoked for that. So thoughts on Redecan being private? Yeah, so they're private. I shared from the article here on BNN, so check this out. Because they're private, we don't know. That's why a lot of people are like, I never heard of Redecan before. Well, it's because it's a private company. It's not, people can't buy stock, right, over the public markets. And you just don't hear about it unless you were like in the store, right, in the retail locations. But I've seen tons of people, I purchased some of their products and their vape kits and stuff, and they were pretty good. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of data out there about their revenue and stuff, but I did find here on the bottom of this BNN article, the company generated 58 million in Canadian sales in the first 3-month period from February to April, according to Highfire. 58 million in 3 months? Are you kidding me? HEXO got a solid deal, like an amazing deal. So 3 months, right? 3 months times 4 is 12, so that's a quarter. So in 1 quarter, they had 58 million. What did HEXO have? Let's just do a quick, that's a great little study here. Let's go look at that. HEXO. So what was HEXO's quarterly revs? I think it was like 32. Just want to verify that. That's a great question. Yeah, let's just get an idea of what we can expect in terms of the combined entities revenue. So 32.83. So we'll just do it modestly. 32 plus 58. Oops. 32 plus 58. And then we'll go over to Zenibus. Hopefully they have the numbers here. I know some of those smaller cap names, they don't always have the coverage, and I don't really feel like going digging for it at the moment, but I'll just make something up. I think it's like 20 million or like between 15 and 20 million, I'm pretty sure. Just get a rough idea. 12 million. 15 million before that, yeah, so it's basically spot on. So we'll use 12 million just to be conservative, plus 12. And now let's look at North. I think they're like 8 million, 13 million at the most. If memory serves me correctly, earnings, 7. So again, and I was rounding down. 109 million per quarter. That's $436 million a year. And that's just in Canada, right? Like, for the most part. There is some international sales and stuff, but it's very, very small. Like, if you look at the amount of kgs they're selling across the border, across the pond, it's not anything substantial. But for almost $500 million. And the US is forecasting 120 billion annually by 2025. So in 3 or 4 years, they're saying the US could be generating 125 billion a year in sales. And again, let's just go through that number. 125 billion, and let's say HEXO just, manages to get 5%. That's $6.2 billion a year in revenue. That's not including Canada. They're $500 million there, and by 2025, that's probably going to be over $1 billion or $2 billion in run rate. And then you factor in the EU and the Malta and the exportability to the EU and Germany, and then you look at Mexico and Latin America and all other parts of the globe and Asia. Are you starting to follow me here? No, great answer. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, truly monthly bull flag. Great analysis. Yep. EPS positive sounds very likely based on those numbers. Oh, yeah, it does, especially with Redecan's great margins. Like HEXO is committed to 30 plus above margins. And he even said it. He's like, all the LPs, when we lowered the price from original stash, so like, that's not sustainable. You won't make any money. And he's like, well, I'm still maintaining 30% margins, so I'll just drop the price again. And then that's when they came out with Bake Sale. And now they're going to be offering $80 ounces, 28 grams for $80. It's going, and the reason why all the LPs like Canopy and Aurora were saying, oh, you can't do that, it's because to them, it wasn't feasible. They couldn't grow great marijuana at a great price, and they just couldn't make the margins. But HEXO has continued to make margins, and they continue to drop price. Man, just wait. Just you wait for the future, folks. I'm excited. EPS positive. Yeah, it's entirely possible. I'm not expecting EPS positive on June 17th. Maybe. I mean, you never know. I doubt it. We did see that through some of the recent other LPs that their sales were down and stuff. It's entirely possible that market share went to HEXO, but as we saw from some of the Stats Canada details as well, that it was trending down and we had more lockdowns and COVID-19 and stuff like that. So it's entirely possible that HEXO's revenue got hurt as well, but it's entirely possible that they gained that market share too, right? They've been growing quarter over quarter and year over year, while most LPs were down, right? So it's entirely possible, but I think EPS positive, likely more realistic at some, maybe in the fourth quarter of this year or first quarter of 2022. How's HEXO in single digits, right? It's because that's what market makers do, right? In the summertime, it was don't buy HEXO, all these third-party media coverages. And what did I say in the summertime? I said, this is just like what happened with Tesla. Everybody said, don't buy Tesla. Everybody on Wall Street, they don't make any money. You're never going to make any money. They're going to go bankrupt. And then it ends up being, the story of 2021 and 2020 and running thousands and thousands of %. And then every article you see is bullish. And now what's happening with HEXO? Well, let's just take a look. I wish I still had the articles from the summer, but exactly what I said is happening, right? They were bearish article after bearish article. HEXO doesn't make any money. HEXO is terrible. Now you go here to news. HEXO looks like it's breaking out of a technical pattern. Top Canadian cannabis stock remains a buy today. 3 pot stocks to avoid like the plague. HEXO to acquire. So again, I'm not seeing it here, but we had like top Canadian stock to buy and most popular Robinhood stock. What is that about? Anyway, HEXO was number 2. I think Canopy was number 1. And then, anyway, it's basically everything that you could see from the Motley Fool and all these other third-party analysts are saying, the one true pot stock to own. And pretty soon you're going to see the Amazon of cannabis or the Coca-Cola of cannabis. And just wait, right? The market makers are finally have their position established, and now they're going to let the truth escape, right? And then retail is going to be sitting here like, what? What happened? I thought HEXO scam. HEXO scam. HEXO zero. What do you mean $100? That can't be right. Must be a glitch. Yeah, like HEXO is literally the best LP. I don't have barely any money into any other LP. I've got a ton of money in MSOs on this monthly pullback, looking for a monthly bull flag. I got a ton of money into MSOs, into MSOS, but HEXO, in terms of LPs, HEXO has about 95% of my capital. And I've got an average cost post-split of about $3. So well over 100%, you know, still I started off with, you know, like 1,000 HEXO shares. This is after I'm factoring in post-split. And now I'm close to 10,000 HEXO shares. And today, selling at 741 and rebuying at 699 and 710, was able to reload way cheaper and get way more shares. There's some people in our group who do covered calls. So if you're holding the stock, you can sell a covered call and essentially just try to keep the premium, and that way you're able to lower your cost basis by that logic. Or you can just buy your shares lower, sell your shares high, buy them lower. That works too. Tons of different trading strategies. Doesn't make one any particular strategy better than the other. Just different strokes for different folks. Makes me think about positive EPS this year is likely. Yeah, it is. It's entirely possible. Maybe the end of the year or the beginning of 2022. But HEXO has said that they hinted at it being the end of the year, or I think they said they were most likely expecting EPS positive at the first half of 2022. All right, guys, and gals, we're going over 1 hour here. And like I said, fourth video of the day. Gotta go get some food into me. Gonna make a trip to my local Value Buds, grab some Reddies for 20 bucks. They got a sale on right now on Molos at Value Buds here in Alberta for $2 per 2.5 milligram Molo. Safe to say I'll be buying as many of those as they allow. That's another thing too. Sebastien St-Louis said Health Canada agrees with him that they need to up that limit. So we should see in the next 12 to 18 months, he said, you might even be able to buy like a 12 pack or a 24 pack of Molos pretty soon. So, and that's really going to expedite the sales and the revenue, right? There's a lot of people, like myself included, I'd buy a lot more than 5 if I was able. And then sometimes you're not even able to buy Bud because you got too many drinks, right? So you kind of have to pick your battle. 310 Canadian is my HEXO average. Very happy. Yeah, that's a great average. Congratulations, my friend. Super happy to hear that. All right, guys, have a fantastic weekend. Can't wait to do it all again next week. And we'll see you after market close on Monday. Happy days to come. Yeah, Molo, cheers. All right, take care, guys. We'll talk to you again real soon. And stay safe out there. And don't drink too many Molos.